parent 50, like it's varied, you know what I mean?
It
And
varies. But when you have two parents and one is like 50% this and 50% that, and the other one is 50% this and 50% that, you're pretty sure that your kid is not going to be 50% of something outside of that.
that is true. Oh no, definitely. But like one of my relatives had some ancestry that his sister didn't have, and that could either be attributable to somebody, some people did something or whatever, or it can it can happen that, especially if there's a number of years between the kids, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly, like a male child of a father can get slightly different DNA than a much later female child of the same dad. Then again, it could be a different dad, you don't know. But
You-
it was close enough that it was like this could just be within the margin of anomaly that's possible. But I didn't know that. I didn't realize like, oh, your siblings could have inherited slightly different DNA. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's a thing.
yeah, it makes sense. So I cracked up when I saw my cousin posting that on the group, and I was like, you know, I get what they just want the kids to have fun with it and everything. And I'm like, but this is
Yeah.
this is the way science works.
For the younger people, I'm like, I mean, it's actually extraordinarily fascinating. I spent a good couple of years just like immersing myself in genealogical research.
Mhm.
Because I had my grandfather on my mom's side died when she was like, I want to say 14. And all we had was like family lore and whatever. And so after my grandmother died, at some point my mom brought me this bucket of, pictures and crap. And of course, nobody wrote anything on the back of them. And I'm like, well, what the hell is all this? But in there was an original passport. Like when you're doing genealogical research,
Mhm.
that's a sort of a top tier document that you can be like, oh, holy crap, like this is much more of a reliable source than, oh, I found this thing on this ancestry tree. And I was like, okay, this is your dad's actual passport, like, and this is your dad's actual name. And we figured out where his American identity had come from, and we actually got in touch with that family, which was super awesome. And a
Oh
couple
my
of
word.
them that are still alive are like, oh yeah, we remember them talking about that guy, the fisherman, blah blah blah, which was so cool. But every year that goes by, ancestry and all these other things, they scan in more documents and more people do stuff. So finally, I was able to pull up his actual birth certificate and his parents' names and his siblings' names, which was awesome. And it sort of bolstered my theory that most of his family died in World War One, and that's how he sort of ended up here and an orphan and whatever. But
Mhm.
super fascinating. And then you get your DNA done, and you're like, oh, well, I guess I better hand in my lederhosen for the fur hat and the vodka, because we're not actually that German at all. Come to think of it.
Yeah, it's really surprising when some people that, all they have a certain last name, and they think it is of Germanic origin or Scottish origin or something along those lines, and they go through and they start researching through sites like ancestry.com and the
Mm-hmm.
the Mormon libraries and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
then they come to find out,
familysearch.org.
yeah,
I love the Mormons.
and then they come to find out that their last name was completely misspelled when it came through Ellis Island, or it was misspelled by some census taker back in the 20s.
Right?
It was completely different.
My grandfather was given the birth certificate of I don't think that we're blood related to these people. I think we're tangentially, whatever. There has to be some family connection because there are pictures of my grandfather when he kind of first got here with a member of their family. Like there is definitely a connection, and some of them remember him and whatever. Um, Crap, what was I saying? Oh, so he was given a birth certificate of a child who had died
Mhm.
13 years before he, jumped ship in New York. And that was the name he lived under his whole life. We had never heard of, we had never heard anything that wasn't his real name or any of this stuff. But so when I got that box and I was going through it and I found that passport with his picture in it, like original passport, there's the picture. There's no denying that it's him. I'm like, holy crap, this is your dad's actual name. And it was okay. So it's the difference between growing up thinking that your last name is Smith and then finding out it's like Anatovsky or something like
Yeah,
that. It's like,
yeah.
oh, holy crap. It's crazy. It's awesome. It's super, super interesting. So we have, I can't read because oh, wait, hold on. Oh, my glasses are on my head. Awesome. Getting old is so much fun. Can I just tell you, all you kids listening to this show right now, you're like, oh God, I hope I don't have to have reading glasses like my mom because it's so gross. You will, and you'll feel that gross. You'll be like, I have to walk around with reading glasses now because if I don't, I can't read anything. Anyway, so we have 3 minutes left, and I feel like talking about our new show starting next week. What do you think,
Yes,
babe?
ma'am. Yes,
So we're
ma'am.
revamping the platform. We got a whole new look and feel around the thing. And I guess we're going to launch it next week.
Yes, we are. We're launching it next week, and it will be called.
Broadly speaking. And it's going to be lit. I
Yes.
hope. It's probably going to be like this, but it's a less gender exclusive sort of thing because dudes can come talk to us too.
Yes.
I don't want the dudes to feel like, I mean, the cool dudes weren't put off by Chick Chat, but whatever. But we can talk about whatever we want, broadly speaking.
Our wonderful producer Lou is actually stepping back because she is going to be a little too busy to take on another chat show. So
She got a lot of stuff going on.
she
She's a busy
does.
lady. She
She's a
works her butt
brilliant
off.
mind, so she's got a lot of stuff going on. And so it's going to be Aggie and vodka, and
Whee!
the Aggie with vodka, along with vodka.
Right? It's gonna be me and you
And
and
a lot of vodka.
guests, and we'll just have rant. You know what? For our maiden voyage, we should pick a couple of randos that we like on Twitter. Because let's face it, we sort of live on Twitter. I mean, I know people crap on Twitter and whatever, but like, it's a community.
It really
I block all the trolls and the losers and the blue
I've made
checks.
a
So
lot of good friends on Twitter, I have to admit.
absolutely.
So,
Social media is what you make of it. So if you hate it and you're like, it's so toxic, then you're doing it
it's
wrong.
going to be toxic for you. This is true.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so starting next week, we will be right here on KLRN at 7:30 Eastern.
That's right. New time, baby.
new time and new format. And
A
so where can we
whole
find?
new show. We'll edit that out in post. Not really. I'm just
Where
kidding.
can
We'll
we
leave it
find
in.
you?
Fuck it. We'll do it live. It's going to be lit, fam. All right. Let's get off. Okay. Now we're done. An hour because we're going to get in trouble. All right, fam. We'll see you next week. 7:30
Okay.
p.m. Friday night.
Yep.
Bye, babies.
7:30 p.m. Friday nights. Good night,
Peace.
everyone.